TWM Podcast.
Hello, I am Matty Deller and welcome to the Indy Wrestling Show, bringing you the world of graps that is at your doorstep, covering all things from the UK, USA and around the world. TWM Podcast is where you can find us in all the usual places: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, TuneIn, Podbean and YouTube, where you can get 6 lots of your wrestling needs in podcast form from Monday to Saturday. That Indie Wrestling Show is in association with the Babyface app, available on Apple and Google Play Store. If you want to check out anything that's really important and relevant in the world of British independent wrestling, you can check it out there. You can also read our latest BritRest articles up on the Babyface app. Squared Circle Box also sponsor TWM Podcast. If you want to get 10% off your first order, please use the code TWMNews at squaredcirclebox.com. We've got a packed house and a special guest this week as we cover a whole bunch of stuff in the world of independent professional wrestling. First of all, let's bring in the nearest and dearest notable Welshman independent wrestling connoisseur. I've realised there's two. The one you normally know, Mike Mears. Yeah, that thing.
How long was Reese with us? And there was 2 Welshmen, so...
Oh, there's now 3. I've now confused myself. No more than 3 Welshmen may enter this podcast.
2.
Also joining us, as always, our resident Ripper. That Riptide... I'm confusing myself again. It's going to be a long show. I'm tired. Victoria's here.
Hiya. I'm a bit ill. So as if I sound like a man.
No, you've got the nasally tone. It's going to bring a sensual feel to the pod.
I sit more now because I sound like a man?
No, because everyone is welcome here. You just even people with colds, it's fine. And our fourth, you've heard him on several roundtable podcasts discussing things like Riptide and how we got into wrestling. Also, he laughs every time I say a certain day of the week, so I'm really going to avoid saying that. It's Kyle.
Sup, your boy is back.
Kyle and Victoria went to Riptide Brighton Spirit, so they're going to give us a little recap of all that stuff later on in Le Pod, but we've got the week in televised independent wrestling, starting off with a little bit of MLW. MLW opens with a match that was brilliant as LA Park and El Hijo del LA Park go over Magnus and Septimo Dragon. The first thing I wrote down, Mike, was Nick Aldis looks different.
I was watching this and I just went, oh, no, it's not. No, that's
it's like, he suddenly
it's basically, Magnus has been in the wash. A little bit too high, just a little bit.
We love our Simpsons references. This is literally, Magnus is the non-union Mexican equivalent of Nick Aldis.
He's the Bumblebee man to Nick Aldis. No, sorry, Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis. That is the British gimmick he has. They're acknowledging the inserts in Contra now, so almost if they are literally interfering with the show. This match was brilliant, but for all the ridiculous reasons that the Parks are brilliant. The fact this was a lucha match that literally made little to no sense.
I would say this was fantastic storytelling. I would also be a liar.
This was just lucha for the sake of lucha. All luchadors shake hands and then the Parks twat them. We get chairs, cock drops on the guardrail and belt shots. Tony then throws shade at other networks over analysing things. Ooh, banter. Lost Parks work over Magnus and Septimo Dragon in the ring. Magnus fights back, hits a tornillo, and Septimo hits an Asai tornillo. Very lovely done. Septimo crotches a Los Angeles Park, and it's a Spanish fly on Hio, a swanton on LA Park for near fall, and also we can get Hio in a Spanish fly and a big dog spear from LA Park for a near fall. And at this point, I just cannot keep up with what's going on.
Now, see, is he the big dog or is he just the big park? Because I went with big park.
The big dog park.
Oh, well, that's okay then. Where all the big dogs go.
They end up in the crowd, and LA Park is a large man. He hits a beautiful crossbody into the crowd.
He has no right to hit a crossbody that good, does he?
It's obscene. Oh, God bless him. Cutters, double stomps, like I wrote down. I cannot keep up with this match. they, like, Septimo and Hio exchange blows, and Hio rocks him with a super kick. Septimo then punts Hio in the face for a near fall, but misses a split-legged senton. Hio del LA Park hits a snap destroyer, like, literally the fastest destroyer I've ever seen.
That was beautiful, though.
It was so...
That was amazing.
I've never seen anyone perfectly run into a destroyer the way he did that.
And then perfectly land it. So Septimo took it against the ropes and then came back down from it.
Yes. LA Park screams, which was unnerving. Just goes, ah, for no reason. Like, he's having a breakdown. Magnus nearly gets the win, but Selena pulls the ref out. Hio dives on Septimo. LA Park misses a thing. Something happened. Ends up splashing the referee. Selena kicks Magnus in the dick, and we get a roll-up for the win. It was just really fun, this match.
Like, that end was really silly, but if it was a little bit slicker, it would have looked really good.
Now, I'm gonna talk to Victoria about this, because she did mention, because it's hard to keep up with all the wrestles. There's a lot of it. There is literally many wrestles. Victoria mentioned that when LA Park came out, she watched this late in the evening, or a time where anyone's tired, and she fell asleep during this match. Based on that, based on what happened there, Victoria, could anyone have kept up in any state other than wide awake? And even then, you would be immediately confused at all the things that are going on.
Yeah, so I obviously did watch it again because, you know, I was trying to watch it for the podcast, but I was just tired, so I put it on, was asleep before it started, and then you were like, you're an idiot, it was amazing. I was like, oh, must just be me being tired then. Even then, watch it again, and, like, picturing you describing it, like, yes, that happened, but then at the same time, I still don't know what happened.
that is an LA Park match in a nutshell.
Complete fuckery happened.
It's
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I can't imagine. I'm happy that you didn't wake up mid LA Park match, because I can't imagine anyone waking up and seeing a flying skeleton and not absolutely shitting themselves. Contra interrupt the feed and they talk to Selena De La Renta and they say, this isn't a business transaction, this is a war. And Jacob Fatu, who's a really good promo. I can see why the big companies are looking at Jacob Fatu. He's very good. And says November 2nd will be the Day of the Dead for Los Angeles Park.
I like the fact that they didn't just cut the promo in, they actually built for the cut of it coming in.
Oh yeah, it was really nice. They did the constant interference, didn't they? The Contra stuff, which was cool. We then hear from Rich Bikini that Teddy Hart got himself cleared with his own doctor, and I was like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, but if you had a doctor called Dr. Spengler, would you listen to him?
No. Generally.
Exactly.
And also, not LA Park, MLW got faked by a fake doctor that didn't even sound like a real person before, so they've got...
I'm pretty sure it's the same doctor as Impact used.
just change the name. They don't have... have a concussion, just sit down and walk off for 5 minutes?
Yeah, you just go to the back and then they give you a tablet and you're fine.
Yeah,
it's almost like a Z-Pack.
No one shit themselves yet on MLW or Impact, as far as we know. The Von Erichs say to defend the honour of the Children's Hospital, they're going to wrestle the Dynasty in Mexico. The Dynasty just go, no.
I love the fact that they didn't move this. They've literally shot this, like, probably 2 foot to the left of where they shot last week's promo.
I hope they did it in one camera shot. On a camera, they just cut slightly. They didn't even, like, reshoot a different tape. They just moved the camera 2 inches to the left.
No.
And they say that basically their lawyers, Richard Holiday's father, says the contract isn't good enough, so they're not going to Mexico. Spoiler alert, they went to Mexico. Then we get the debut of Dominic Guarini. But before anything, Dominic Guarini's entrance video is awesome. It's so cool, the whole Street Fighter thing.
I think he's really cool, full stop, to be honest.
Oh, he's brilliant. I love Dominic Guarini.
Really enjoyed him.
I wrote down Dominic Guarini over Ariel Dominguez. The way to describe this is, the martial artist murders the small child.
Yeah, that basically was it. As we've seen many times before. If you need to get somebody over the monster, you feed them out Dominguez is like 4 foot nothing. Goes for submissions, grapples, and just messes him up. Does a gut wrench throw into an armbar for the win. I feel like Dominic Guarini is someone who'll be right up Kyle's alley in regards of wrestling. Yeah.
Very strong submission style, throwing people around. Very similar to Kind of very similar to a Timothy Thatcher.
Hang on, so is he like very technical and throwy?
Very technical, very throwy, wrestles in a gi. So he's literally everything you love.
So he's Speedball Thatcher and Ridgeway's love child.
In a way, yes, with a little bit of Scotty Davis mixed in, just from the submission stuff and the suplexes.
It does kind of sound like something I'd be into. Maybe I should check this out.
Yeah, he did wrestle in Evolve for a bit, but then a lot of people have left Evolve and gone to MLW because WWE. Guarini then calls out Thatcher and Lawler, and then Lawler just says he'll batter Thatcher if he... I love that he said, I thought Timothy Thatcher was a mute.
Perfect. Although I like the way they're building like this hybrid shoot style sort of reputation, because obviously they got Thatcher, there's Tom Lawler, there's Green they've brought in, there's the guy from last week who Thatcher fought.
Oh, Douglas James, that one.
Yeah, so like they're kind of developing a few guys. They've got Simon Gotch there as well.
I imagine one of those four are going to take the belt off of Hammerstone, and that it will become very much similar to the Never Openweight belt, became kind of a strong style submission based. Division. The other guy I forgot to mention, who has been there the longest, is Davey Boy Jr. Oh, that as well.
Fits that style perfectly, and he's got the match coming up at the pay-per-view.
Yes, this
so
is true.
Fits together.
Something that's I think is going to appease everyone on this podcast. They announced that Jimmy Havoc is producing the Halloween episode of Fusion.
The thing we probably realised we needed, but couldn't verbalise till we saw it.
So giving Jimmy Havoc anything to do with Halloween probably is one of the best and worst business decisions, because you know it's going to end in probably a lot of blood.
Yeah, it's Jimmy Havoc's Slaughterhouse, they're calling it.
Oh, well, definitely, man.
Yeah. Mance Warner had a punctured lung. I saw this on Twitter, but I didn't know what happened. But
No.
He was. I saw the picture on Twitter of him doing his face in a like a medical gown, and they said like, "Oh, my lung's better now." I didn't realise that was. I don't know where he got that injury from. I don't think it was from MLW, because obviously these are taped. But the photo was still hilarious, because it's him in a medical gown covered in blood, just doing that gormless look that he does in the mugshot. It's tremendous.
Yeah, this was definitely taped like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
no, it was back at the start of September, wasn't it? Yeah. It's like literally a month ago.
God bless MLW trying to string together that Jimmy Havoc bludgeoned Mance Warner with a barbed wire thing in the head, and they're saying that affects his lung.
They've also said that about a man who this week could potentially be the AEW, the first contender for the AEW title.
Yes.
It's good PR.
We get a recap of Injustice getting screwed last week and battering officials, and then Injustice talk about getting screwed and not getting justice, and they say shit a lot. We then get a homeless Austin Aries beating Brian Pillman Jr. But he does have a coat now, so Austin Aries does look less homeless.
Yeah.
That's their only response.
I just don't care about him.
I just don't give a shit about Austin Aries anymore. I've run out of shit to give about Austin Aries, even if he has a coat.
I've seen his face until this match, because I didn't really see it when he attacked Teddy Hart, so I was just like... When you were referring to him as homeless, I was like, I kind of don't really get it. But now I've seen that beard, I'm like, right, I get it now.
It's not the beard, it's also his gear. He's just got black, raggedy-ass gear. It's like, if you remember Austin Aries from any promotion, he has very elaborate gear, but now he's just in all black, like he's literally pulled it out of the MLW dumpster.
Maybe Austin Aries has run out of shits to give about Austin Aries.
Well, maybe he ran out of shits to give the moment he walked out of Slammiversary.
This is true. Stop walking out on companies, Aries. This is what happened.
I think he's just got beef with himself and realising he's a vegan. He hates himself.
I hate you, Mike. Pillman gets slapped and once more, and Aries is shooketh by this, and then Pillman stops him and takes control with chops and a double axe handle on the outside. Pillman tries to do air Pillman, and Aries rushes him, and it's a big low pay to take control. They exchange forearms. This was a very basic match. I didn't really get into it. Pillman fires up. It's a power slam for a near fall. Aries puts on the last chance roof. Pillman fights out of it. Pillman then goes for a dive, and I think Aries headbutts him as he goes through the ropes or something. I missed that bit.
Yeah, he headbutted him.
And Aries hits a brainbuster for the win.
It was it didn't look like a slick brainbuster. If you notice how he brings him down, it's very... like staggered.
Yeah, it wasn't one of his best ones. I think Pillman might have gone dead weight before Aries was ready to drop. So there was a little bit of both. Aries then calls out Teddy Hart to close, and that's your fusion. And
they have a little scrap. I like the way Tony did we've run out of time, we gotta go.
See you on Thunder! It's like, oh, damn, there's not a show for him to shout out to now. It's absolute travesty of justice.
See you on AEW Dark!
That would have been brilliant if he shouted out to a different promoter. See you on Dynamite! Shit! We get a recap of last week's amazing wedding. I'm just going to keep hammering it home that it's the best wrestling wedding I've ever seen. And all the Sammy stuff from last week. OVE then turn up rolling deep with security, and then that Gabby, what's her name, Loren, interviewer girl, goes up to OVE for a comment, and then I love that David Chris goes, wild security, and David Chris goes, have you seen Brian Cage?
They portray him as like a cult and that they're mental, but like, no, there's a lot of sense in these boys.
It's like, we're not stupid.
We may look it, but we aren't.
We are then going to the opening match, which is Tennille Dashwood over Madison Rayne and Kira Hogan, and Don Callis is now insisting that Madison Rayne has won the Knockouts title 23 times.
Well, there was that one day reign in, where was it, Thailand, I think it was?
Yeah, and also the 3-day reign in Rio de Janeiro when she won it in the tournament.
Fair point.
We then, by the way, I watched it on Demand 5 after they missed 1 week, and then now it's back on all the time. And they've got a lot of stuff just blocked over by giant Impact logos, which I imagine is just random tour shit. So it's very distracting when you just get a giant Impact logo and then 30 seconds of silence. So Hogan and Rayne work over Dashwood until Tennille throws Rayne to the outside to take over. And then Don and Josh, for the first 5 minutes of the match, are literally just talking about nothing, and it's hilarious. Talking about Halloween, what they're going to do for Halloween, go trick-or-treating. It's so bizarre.
I feel like part of this is they just pop themselves.
Yeah, they're just amusing themselves at this point. But they still call the match. It's amazing how well they can call a match and then just amuse themselves in other parts.
I'd be intrigued to know how much of this they do in post. Or like if it's just like one take whenever they're there and that's it.
Well, I don't know. So, like, Josh Matthews has really come into his own in the last year as a commentator.
I think both of them have. Like
Don's improved Josh massively.
Do they actually have like a commentary table at the announce desk like now, though? Because when I was like at the TNA tour many moons ago now, there was just the table. Commentary was in post.
Yeah, no, they have a table there. Like,
lovely. We actually have visuals for once.
Because they've got competent owners now.
They have bits to cameras with people holding totally not fake signs in the background.
Thank God for that access budget.
Well, they're not fake signs. They're real signs. They're just written by the same person. All 57 signs.
Yeah. Hogan and Rayne take back over and work over some more with some kicks. And Tennille Dashwood, I don't want to be that guy, but Tennille Dashwood does this arm move that generally looks like the stupidest move. I imagine it's very painful. She puts her feet into like Madison Rayne's shoulders and just pulls her arms, which I imagine is very painful because you're just pulling someone's arms out of their sockets, but it looks so stupid. And then Don Callis insists, by the way, for reference for Kyle, and of Vic, it kind of has been on and off with him and stuff. Don keeps insisting that because Madison Rayne is the locker room leader, keeps insisting that basically Madison Rayne is Bret Hart. So he,
as in by name?
Okay.
Yeah. So he keeps going. He goes, "Oh yeah, no. Madison Rayne told me she invented this new move where Kira Hogan picks her up and she has a clothesline. She calls it the heart attack. I've never heard of it before." It's so dumb, but so funny.
It's fine. He can make the jokes.
All of the drugs.
No, he's generally just popping himself because he can't make inappropriate jokes on New Japan anymore because he's not there. So he just pops himself on Impact commentary. Dashwood moves out the way, so Rayne eats a Hogan dive, then we get a neck breaker, and then Rayne and Hogan take more control, but it falls apart because they both go for a superplex and both argue with each other over who's going to do the move. Dashwood knocks them both together and then buckle bombs Rayne onto Kira Hogan for a near fall. Then Dashwood runs for her stuff. Tarantula takes the Tennille, and then Hogan, but they come back a little bit. Hogan hits a fisherman's neck breaker. They argue, but Dashwood hits Madison Rayne with a spotlight for the win. So she's beaten both of them in singles matches and then them in a 3-way. So kind of that basically accentuates her thing of being the number one contender to face Taya at Bound for Glory in 2 weeks.
No, she needs to be in a gauntlet match next.
That. and then a hand. Just any formation of the three. Johnny Swinger is backstage getting pumped up and spanks someone who he thinks is a lady on the behind. The camera zooms in, and it turned out to be Jimmy Jacobs, who just looks very confused. But not gonna lie, he's a sexy man, so not gonna.
And he's quite often found in a dress. So.
This is true. He is the zombie princess. We see an Impact on Axis advert, and they kind of run inserts, basically hyping their move to Access, which is good. Good to see. Eddie Edwards cuts an emotional promo about needing help, and Dreamer agrees because Reno Scum drugged him. Dreamer doesn't believe him, but Eddie's like, it was on TV. I love that Eddie's the mental one, insisting like, did you not watch last week's show and see Reno Scum clearly drugged me? Dreamer's like, you're talking shit, mate. Like, what are you on about? Dreamer's off to help him, but it turns out Eddie Edwards was talking to Kenny, who was sat behind him the whole time.
Wait for the big return when Davey Richards comes back to help him.
Oh yeah, he's back, isn't he?
That's not a spoiler. That's me messing around.
Yeah, but he did. No, what isn't it? It's not a spoiler. He did come back to wrestling this week, didn't he?
He did.
In Portland.
He did indeed.
Because it's if there's a full moon in the sky, then Davey Richards comes out of retirement for the 37th time. Johnny Swinger over Owen Traverse. So basically, the gimmick is that Johnny Swinger is from the 90s.
Yeah. And I think I like it.
I think it's brilliant. It's so funny. Especially Don Callis being like, I'm going to call it old school and start speaking in Carney. It's like, it basically does loads of 90s moves, big clotheslines, hip tosses, a headbutt to the lower abdomen. And then my favourite bit is Don Callis is like, well, you'd like to be hit down there, wouldn't you, Josh? And Josh's like, you can't say that. Don goes, it's the 90s. I can say what I want.
I think that was the line of the episode. I think that was the line of the week.
Oh, it was tremendous. It was very, very funny. Eye rake, back rakes, Traverse fights back, but misses a charge, and hits a swinging neck breaker because his name is Johnny Swinger for the win. Little comment.
But he's always used that.
Has he always used the swinging neck breaker? I can't remember what his finisher was in ECW. So
way back when he was Simon Diamond and Johnny Swinger as a tag team in TNA, that's what he used as a finish.
I want to keep in mind, they've just debuted Johnny Swinger in 2019. He wrestled in WCW in 1998. But then again, WWE just used Meiko Satomura, and she wrestled in WCW in 1998. So, yeah. Am I mental thinking that this is them making a dig at Eric Bugenhagen or Rick Boogs, whatever his name is on NXT?
No, I don't know.
They look very similar, and it was just something that came up in my brain.
They look similar, but I don't feel like the characterization is anything of the same because one's stuck in the 90s, one's just a metalhead.
Oh, fair enough. Lauren interviews the North and asks how they're feeling about having to defend their titles, but Ethan Page interrupts and goes, "We're going to face Mac and Swan, and I've improved since the match since last year." And then Lauren goes, "It's a three-way match. You're facing RVD and Rhino as well." And the North is shook by this. And then Ethan tells Lauren to do one. They're not happy about this. Then Lauren talks to Tessa Blanchard about Sammy and Melissa Santos. And then Tessa does this really nice promo, basically saying about how there's been too many accidents for Sammy to not be considered an absolute scumbag. She says that Brian might want his hands on Sammy more than her. But to her, each of OVE has a target on their backs. More backstage stuff. Alicia Edwards acts badly and bumps into Ace Austin.
Part 742.
The ongoing...
I genuinely don't think I've ever heard you guys say that Alicia Edwards doesn't talk badly. She'll act badly.
She's absolute dog shit. I'm sorry. Bumps into Ace Austin, and Austin says that he's concerned about Eddie Edwards and said he had a substance abuse problem. And basically he's like, you're basically doing the Kurt Angle Stephanie thing, but not as openly trying to hump Kurt was. Ace Austin is. Remember the air humping. Never forget the air humping. Eddie Edwards and Kenny over Reno Scum. So that's right. Eddie Edwards beat a tag team with a kendo stick. Reno Scum, this was a ridiculous episode. But then again, post that wedding, Impact's become ridiculous all of a sudden, but it's really fun.
It's ridiculous in all the right ways. Like, the way this match ends is fantastic.
Scum tries to get the jump on Eddie, but Eddie takes over with big chops and a big beta belly suplex. Eddie tries to make the tag to Kenny, but Scum takes control as Don calls the kendo stick the most over Kenny in the wrestling business. Don was on fire.
That's not a dig, because you know that's something that would have popped Kenny.
Oh yeah, massively popped.
Oh, sorry, he was on about Kenny Dykstra.
Sorry. It was all about, I'm trying to think, Jenny of any other Kenny in wrestling. Williams. It's all about Kenny Williams. There we go. Eddie, they take Eddie to Pity City, but then Eddie counters into a suplex, makes the tag to Kenny, and he just swings Kenny at all of them. Reno Scum hit each other. Kenny, he throws Kenny at Reno Scum, misses, doesn't hit any of them, misses, and Don Callis goes, my God, Kenny with an Asai moonsault, Tope Con Hero, space flying tiger drop.
Oh, that was the one for me.
My favourite part of that is he throws the kendo stick and misses both of them.
No, there was only one of them out there. There was.
Oh, okay.
Because he throws it like over the one with the Mohawk's head. The
ultimate diversion tactic. Eddie hits the Boston Knee Party for the win. They said Impact's become ridiculous and it's so much fun. The North go into a locker room where Conan is. Conan has a shot of tequila and they close the door, and generally I thought this seemed a lot more sexual than it should have been.
Well, sometimes a shot of tequila, is needed to do the fact
they stared at each other. He looked at them, did a shot of tequila, and then closed the door very slowly. I was like, are they gonna have a homosexual three-way? This is what's happening here. Hopefully not, because we come back and Conan is face down on the floor, seemingly dead. So,
wow,
I'm not saying anything. OVE
he's a snooze juicer.
Oh, why? Victoria, tell him off. Anyone tell him off. Can't just be me.
What did he say?
He said the phrase snooze juicer.
Bad Michael, go to your room.
Thank you, someone. I have
to contribute somehow.
I trust Victoria to be the disciplinarian in this situation.
Confused.
Don't worry.
People to be disciplinary, you wouldn't expect it to be me either, which is even better.
OVE come down to ringside with many securities. Sammy says what happened last week was a tragedy, and Impact Management have asked for an apology, so we get the normal thing of Sammy reading out a fake apology. Brian Cage interrupts and murders all the security, hits an apron bomb to Jake Christ. Dave Christ eats an F5, powerbomb to Fulton. Sammy runs, Cage goes after him, a fan taps him, and Cage just throws him.
Should never touch the talent.
But it's like, I love that you're doing. I thought it was OVE. They were all lying in front of you.
God, see, accidents do happen, Cage. God,
yeah, accidentally hitting your wife in the face with a bottle. Police immediately arrest him. We then cut to Jake Christ on commentary. This bit killed me, and it wasn't meant, because Jake Christ is talking about, yeah, I'm the best, I'm the exhibition champion, and a fan walks behind him and just goes, you're the worst, boo! And Jake does not know what to say.
His reaction to just, push his glasses back up and, just ignore it was brilliant.
So I imagine that was going to be left out, and Don went, no, you leave that in, that is gold. That someone just gone, yeah, you suck.
If anything, it makes him look a better heel because he didn't respond to it.
Yeah, the fact that he's just broken and dead inside based off that one thing alone. Then we get to a X Division qualifying ladder match thing. As Dargo defeats Chris Bay. We saw Chris Bay last week in the
Vegas native. Oh yes, they were in Vegas.
They were. All right, that was we know Chris Bay from GCW. Fast boy offense to open, head scissors and arm drags until Darga hits a big dive on Bay, which is really weird to say. Darga hits a big forearm and a flying kick near fall. Bay fights back. Huge flip dive to the outside. Darga hits a running back cracker for a near fall. We get a 10-punch spot, flying crucifix from Bay for a near fall. Darga hits a Spanish fly, then hits a chicken wing code breaker for the win. Jake Christ then holds the title in front of Darga, and Dave Christ jumps him, and then Tessa Blanchard saves her boyfriend from the beatdown, and they clean house. They've not really mentioned that, but I imagine they
didn't mention it at all. I was like, are they going to do anything? Are they going to show an interaction or anything? And they did nothing.
Yeah. TJP and Falabar tried to get pumped up for TJP's main event, which was great because they're trying to get Falabar to talk, and then anytime he gets any moment of emotion, he just goes, bah! Which is basically...
Why does TJP's main event sound like one of the really, really shit WrestleMania weekend shows?
It's what they replaced Joey Janela's
yeah, exactly.
Spring Break with. TJP's main event.
That's only because Superhuman's been signed by WWE.
This is true. OVE leave the building because they're scared of Brian Cage doing stuff. Josh Matthews holds a press conference talking about Moose and Ken Shamrock. Moose basically talks about how MMA is barbaric and it's not a thing, but he's like, I bring in one person I consider has a bit of class, and my God, it's TNA Hall of Famer Frank Trigg.
He's the last person to have any class.
Isn't he like? Wasn't he like? They put him in TNA as like a respected MMA guy, but isn't he like dog shit?
He back in the day, he was an early pioneer, admittedly. So, his name does hold some value, but his name hasn't held value for Christ.
His name has
at least 15 years.
His name did hold value, but now it is Tesco value.
Yeah, exactly. It's slipped down into the charity shops.
He puts over Shamrock, but says Ken asked for him, not the other way around. Shamrock and Moose face off. They answer questions. Where Moose refuses to answer a question, just leaves. They have a face-off, and they fight, because of course they do. Father James Mitchell then berates Havoc for going after Su Yung, and annoying you-know-who. And what are they going to pay off who you-know-who is?
It's Vince McMahon.
It's not Vince McMahon. I think they're going to...
It's The Fiend.
It is The Fiend. He's had enough. He's leaving for Impact. I think it might be Kevin Sullivan. I reckon they're gonna bring him in for a one spot and be like the real devil.
Maybe that kind of would make.
Or Vampiro. If only. Play my fucking music. Taya interrupts him and offers him a deal. Take out to Neil Dashwood and you can have a knockouts title match. Mitchell has a counter offer. Why don't we just kill you now? And Taya runs away. Then we get the main event. Michael Elgin over TJP. This was okay. It wasn't amazing. It was alright. TJP works fast on Elgin, going for the knee bar. Elgin uses his power with a shoulder block, back and forth until TJP hits an arm breaker and does his wrecking ball dropkick. TJP goes for a cannonball, and Elgin catches him with a really nice spot into an apron bomb. Elgin takes too long. TJP got a lot of offense against Michael Elgin, which was... I imagine they're trying to put TJP over here, but he got a lot. He got a surprising amount of offense.
Yeah, I think they're using Elgin pretty smart because he's going to have, like, him against Marufuji is going to be one of the marquee matches of Bound for Glory. So they're using that, like, elevated slot to put TJP over, I guess. But I'm really glad they're not just shoehorning TJP into the X Division stuff. Yeah,
they're just using him as kind of a heavyweight conduit until they find something for him. I imagine it'll end up being that ladder match, to be fair. They'll put him in a qualifier, one would imagine.
Yeah.
TJP, well, actually, it's a really, really cool spot. TJP goes for a dive, like a tope, and Elgin catches him as he's coming through the ropes into a power slam. Such a good spot. Loved it. TJP then goes for the armbar again. Buckle bomb, back fist, Elgin bomb for the win. We then cut backstage to Melissa Santos going to bail out Elgin, seemingly at a back door in Las Vegas, rather than the police station.
Yeah, it's like the face-off with Moose and Ken Shamrock was clearly filmed in a sports shop in Sam's Town Casino because you could see the Sam's Town logo through the window.
She's stopped by Sami Callihan and he goes, he insists it was an accident, but he said he felt really, really good hitting her with that bottle. Considering she got smashed in the face with a wine bottle, Santos is fine. There's not a scratch on her.
It's not real glass.
Yeah.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
What, it's all the swerve? Santos is with OVE the whole time?
Yeah.
It's the new Aces and Eights. Melissa Santos for Impact World Champion. Book it, you cowards. It's now time for the portion of the show that we are going to call the Victoria and Carl Smile Time Variety Hour. It won't be an hour. It'll be about half hour. As we talk about Riptide and Brighton Spirit. Sadly, I could not make it. So sad. But we had Victoria and Kyle there. I believe the overarching headline, Victoria, is Spike Trivet's a cunt.
Yes.
In-depth review. That's what next show.
Honestly, I feel like for her, you could probably just leave it at that.
we should just do that. Just the Riptide is Spike still a cunt report. So we'll go. We're not
start a Twitter account for it.
What is
There
Spike
needs to be like
Trivet?
a countdown timer, like going online somewhere.
How many hours has Spike Trivet been a cunt?
All of them.
All of the hours ever, even before he was born. Yeah, so Spike Trivet's the Brighton champion. Victoria, how did this happen?
Well, that was on night 3. We starting with that?
No, we're going to go through the big headlines and then go for the everything else. We're starting with the main points.
You're just going for the overarching news.
Yeah, the hot story, the hot takes, the tasty takes.
Front page news.
Deliver us them tasty takes, Victoria.
Okay, so basically, after Chuck Mambo and TK were kicked out of the tag team tournament, Mambo was like, "Look, TK, yeah, I know how you've been looking at me and my belt. I know that you want my belt. It's not yours, it's mine, right? So, the main event, I've beaten you twice, yeah, but because we're best friends, I will let you have one more shot at my title." So that was
Can I just add, for 1 second at this point, you've missed out that at this point, Mambo thought TK was also joining Money versus Everybody.
I'm going to get to that.
Come on, girl.
Fuck's sake. Yeah. As alluded to at the bank holiday shows, Mambo thinks TK is in MVE. So, their title match is set for the main event of show 3. They have said match. It was fucking incredible. I mean, I know we've seen them wrestle before and it's been amazing, but this was even better than their match at the Royal Rumble in April. Was it a Royal
Higher
Rumble?
stakes, I'd say.
Riptide Rumble. If it was the Royal Rumble, we'd be more shocked than when Mambo turned up on Impact. If Mambo wrestled at the Rumble and we forgot.
Yes. But so it's even better than that match at the Rumble. So when it drops, please watch it. It's fucking incredible. Anytime they wrestle each other at Riptide, I legit get scared because they do so many rope things and I just feel like the ropes at Riptide hate them.
Yeah,
Is that fair assessment, Kyle?
I think so. Like, there's been a lot of times we've been watching TK. Matty, you can probably remember this as well, like, being at Point Break.
I still have PTSD from the TK Cooper versus Carl Fletcher match. AKA the day the ropes fought back.
Oh, yeah, we genuinely thought TK was going on his head, not Samoan gimmick at all, just genuine head bumps for days.
Horrifying.
Okay. So, after their incredible match, Mambo retains. The place goes fucking wild. We're all like, yes, the perfect end to a weekend.
Not Mambo number 5 for title defense.
Damn, I was hoping he'd lose on the 5th one. We had Mambo number 5. Balls.
So, everyone really happy. Hooray, Brighton Spirit, the weekend is saved. And then, Spike Trivet. No, wait, sorry, before that. Mambo cuts a promo and says, TK, I know you're the 4th member of MVE. I know you are, but that doesn't matter to me. You're my best friend and I love you. And I was like, oh, friendship.
Did they kiss?
No.
Boo.
But then, and he came out with Shay, not Moser.
Just Shay.
Just Shay. And then he was like, oh, Mambo. And he cut this really good promo. I can't quite remember it word for word, but something about demons. And then I was like, shit, it's not him, which we kind of all knew anyway. He was like, TK's not the 4th member of MVE. He is. And then in runs Paul Robinson, and I'd forgotten that I predicted this.
You made this happen. Shit. You made this happen. It was your...
Basically, I'm booking Progress, you're booking Riptide.
Well, this is not how I would book it. Anyway, so... Robbo comes in. He was going to do, was it a curb stomp to Mambo, but TK pushed him out of the way and took it instead because friendship goals. And then the head medic at Riptide is one Josh Bethan's dad, Big Dave. He gets in the ring to check on TK, and then Spike grabs hold of him and was like, Josh, get down here. He was like, Spike said he was going to torture Josh's dad in front of him if he didn't give him a no DQ match for the title then and there. Josh obviously was like, don't fucking touch him. And he, I think Spike just like screamed in his face. It was a bit weird. Anyway.
Something along those lines. He had the microphone, and I'm not sure if he had something else in his hands. I couldn't properly see it.
But yeah, so then Josh was like, alright, whatever you want, like, just fucking let go of him. And then, so they got him out the ring. Did Robbo hit Mambo with a chair? I think curb stomp onto chair might have happened in the actual match when it was made, because I don't remember TK defending Mambo until there was the actual match. Yeah, so bell rung. Someone I think Robbo hit Mambo, but he kicked out. Everyone went mad. But then there was a chair. Robbo did curb stomp to Mambo, and then Trivet literally just knelt on Mambo's shoulders, and it was
very. It was very Chris Jericho pin, like when he does the foot standing thing.
Come on, baby. Also,
the referee looked heartbroken to have to count it, which was quite a nice touch. But then, Spike Trivet is the new Riptide champion.
Champion of Brighton.
Yeah.
He now owns Brighton. He's legally owns Brighton.
That's it anyway.
That's the way he won the Anarchy Pro Belt, Trivet, as well.
By Shenan's?
By Shenan's. I think with the briefcase. I think, if I remember being there for that show. I'm only thinking of the ways that he could have tortured Mr. Bevan in this. And the only way Jenny in my head, I was like, if Josh was like, do your worst, and he's like, fine. Shay, hit it, and they just play Curtis Chapman's theme on a loop. Until they eventually...
No, that was the celebration party. That was the after party.
We'd heard Chapman's theme enough that day.
No, but it gets so stuck in your head, it literally drives you slowly insane. That's the point it gets to. So Trivet's champion, as we all expected.
Mambo number 6.
Not that we wanted, man, that doesn't really work.
Not at all.
The only time I've ever seen is in the Bob the Builder version.
Is disappointed somewhere.
Lou Bega should have been the 4th member of Money vs. Everybody.
No, they're saving that for next year's...
Oh, no, it can be 5. It'd be Mambo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bega comes in, 6:30. I've booked it, mate.
You coward.
Brighton Spirit Tag Team Tournament. Kyle, who are your favourites? Who did a win? Please tell us.
Who did a massive win?
Yes.
Medusa Complex.
Yes!
We have our first Brighton Spirit Tag Team trophy holders. Not sure if this will be defended at other shows.
I imagine it's a title. I imagine it's going to be...
I'd like it to be defended. The only thing that I have against, if it does get defended, we have a Riptide show in December, and Charlie Evans is elsewhere. I think she's doing American stuff as Blue Nation.
Well,
back
then,
to her home planet, I reckon.
Then they can find contenders for the tag belts at the brilliantly named Combat Panto, which is the best name ever. But cause they had to change a lot of the... As someone gets a message from the anonymous Raw General Manager. Yeah. They had to change a lot of the tournament. It was meant to be like a 4-team round robin thing. And
I'm not sure if it was meant to be round robin, but we had originally... by Thursday evening at the latest, 4 teams confirmed.
Yeah.
And then with going into the Friday, Saturday, a lot of that changed. And it was like, okay, lots of people have pulled out. We have no number 1 contender for the Brighton Championship anymore because Spike was injured. Let's just open this whole thing up and have an 8-team tournament elimination style.
And we got some really cool teams. You got like Makabe and Chris Brooks. I really wanted to... I was interested by the match, but I wanted to see them as a team as well. Because I imagine
as a team, it's sensational. I think a lot of us forget just how good at technical wrestling Chris Brooks is, because he's just that good at doing everything, really.
Were they called CC Makabe?
Yes.
They were actually called CC Makabe, and it was the greatest thing. We all popped.
Sorry, Mike just sent me something on Facebook and it made me laugh. I hate you. I'll tell you off pod. Anyway, other teams that impressed you guys?
I would like to say, I know a few weeks ago after the bank holiday shows, I said that for me, Rob Lyas had go away heat and I hated him and just leave and don't come back. I have changed my mind.
Hurry up, Chapman, I'm bored now.
He can stay forever. Yeah. Rob Lyas and Curtis Chapman are a tag team that I never knew I needed.
I was shocked he wasn't teaming with Gideon Graybo, but it was refreshing to have Lyas.
The Chapman rub. Everybody loves Chapman.
Yeah, everybody. Get that Chapman rub. Ups you a level, because video games. Get it? I was interested to see Mills and OGMO team. Seemed like an interesting concept. How were they?
Hang on, let me refer to actual notes, because I think, don't take my word for it till I read it, they had Rascals in round 1, and that was 2 fast-paced, up-and-coming guys against one of the smoothest tag teams in the world right now, because the Rascals offense, it literally flows so well. between one move and the next. So seeing that match was... Yeah, so seeing that match, I was like, well, it was going to be good no matter what, but it kind of beat my expectations.
Because, Vic, you made a last-minute bolt to Fight Club and made it for the Cage of Death House, so you wouldn't have seen the Have you seen the Rascals before? I'm trying to remember if you've seen them live before.
Were they at DTTI last year?
Yes.
Yes, then I have.
Oh, okay, then it negates my question. Ignore everything I've said!
They are fucking fantastic.
I know.
Amazing.
Just very smooth.
Just ridiculously good. We also had Su Yung have some ridiculous fights.
Well, one was more of a scare fest.
Which one? Are we going to talk about the Gene Money one or the Cara Noir one first?
I'd prefer talking about the Cara Noir one first, because that happened first.
Cara Noir, apparently this was, according to you guys, this was literally performance art.
It was.
I've said that it's, like, perhaps the two best characters, well, out there, possibly. It's pure character work, along with phenomenal wrestling.
Yeah. Did you say that Cara Noir spat egg into Su Young's mouth?
That's it right back.
Hang on.
Kinky.
I've seen this, a little bit. I've seen this spot before where Cara Noir takes an egg and basically swallows the yolk of it into his mouth and then somewhat regurgitates it into his opponent's mouth.
Why? Why?
Because that's what swans do when they feed their young.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but...
Not necessarily eggs, but...
It's just making me feel...
Yeah, but he did it to Su Yung, and Su Yung got it directly back at him.
Sexy. Also,
because that's what we're here for.
Because Riptide is filth, that's why. On the flip side, Su Yung and Gene Money.
It's the best match I've ever seen.
I got major Sendai Girls Martina versus Iga from it, especially with Gene Money coming out as a Ghostbuster.
Didn't Gene Money at one point just shout out, it's like, you're just a human, I'm not scared of you anymore.
Yes.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Oh, because I've written down when I did the results, I was reading along the results, Carl was sending me stuff and I was reading the results from other people as well. And the way I wrote down was, Su Yung defeated Gene Money via apparent death.
Yeah, there's just a moment, like, at the end of it where Sue has, I think, the mandible clawed, removes it, and Gene just spits up blood. It's a very Mortal Kombat fatality.
Yeah.
Awesome. We also found the new number one contender for the Pride of Brighton medal. Obviously, that Cassius has.
It's a medal.
With a whole raft of debuts, Victoria.
This was so good, because I have only ever seen, out of all of them, Kafka. I've been at 2 shows where JJ Lynch was on, but I haven't got there in time to see him wrestle. Sorry, JJ. Kafka's the only one I've seen before, so it was really good.
No, you've seen Aaliyah.
Where?
When we went to that show the day before... No, not shut
not
up, you dick. But never that Aaliyah. You know that the show that we went to the day before Strong Style?
Oh, was she on that?
She teamed with
Wrestling
Talia.
League.
She teamed with Talia, what's her face? Talia Martins.
Did she?
Yeah.
I do not... Hang on, is this the one that we were all at?
Yes.
I do not recall.
They teamed together.
I don't recall that.
That might have been the OGMO Robbo. No, it wasn't. It might have been. I can't remember. Ignore me. You may have seen Aaliyah James.
You're doing very well at this.
I can't remember if it was the show I was at before, the Battle Pro one, which they teamed at, or it was that wrestle show. I'm fairly certain we've seen Aaliyah James as a group. Mini Kafka, as she's also known.
I'd seen her as Mini Kafka at the Soul show, even though I wasn't in attendance. I saw the stuff she was doing. So it was kind of one of the names I'd heard of. The only name that I actually hadn't heard of for that whole tournament. What am I saying? That, scramble that they had, I think was eventual winner Rebel Kinney.
Yeah, I've never heard of that name before. Apparently she's quite a big deal in EVE. So
she's from Brighton, so I'm shocked she hasn't been a Riptide until now.
Yeah. And also Aaliyah James is from Essex, isn't she? So
yeah.
Instant win for instant.
I'd quite like to see more of Aaliyah James as well, because she is fast-paced, lucha offense, and she's just got this like vibrant personality that makes you want to root for her.
Cool. Okay.
So now I really like want to see the difference at a Soul show because I can't imagine myself rooting for her.
Yeah. Vic, who stood out in that match for you out in the Scramble, the new peoples?
I would also say Lee James and I don't know, all of them. I was really excited to see Visage though. Heard a lot.
Yeah, bring them all back.
Visage was someone that I enjoyed a lot when when they were in Defiant. Who did Visage team with? Sexsmith? Yeah, Sexsmith. They teamed for a little bit in Defiant, I think. That sounds right.
Yeah, I think it is. But to paraphrase S Club with all of those debuts, bring them all back to Riptide.
Any other bits that we've missed out over there? Obviously, there's a lot we've missed out, but if we went through...
The peak of Chikara, I would say.
Oh, yes, of course! Her matches against Big Swole. So, Kyle, fill us in.
Right. On night one, Chikara, normal music, comes out to the whole Golden Goddess theme that she normally uses. Has a match with Swole, like, basically loses. Big Swole challenges her to a rematch for one of the next day shows. Basically calls her out and says, I want you to beat me, but without cheating. Chikara gets on the mic and says that basically Robbo's nowhere around like to be her mentor anymore. So she,
even though he'd had a match earlier on and someone shouted it from the crowd and she just went, I didn't see him, so shut up.
Chikara does not watch Paul Robinson's matches, confirmed. Yeah, so basically that happened, and she just said to Big Swole, I'll see you tomorrow. They have that match on the third show. Chikara comes out, completely different entrance music. KTB on a mission.
Yes.
Banger of a tune.
Big tune. Instant fan of Chikara now for that and that alone.
We stan a wrestler that uses KTB as their entrance music.
Yes.
Has the entire match clean as an absolute whistle and manages to beat Big Swole in comparison to the first show. Gets an absolute huge ovation from the crowd, and Chikara is probably your new beloved hero.
Awesome. Really, really cool.
So enjoy that, Matty. You can cheer Chikara.
Okay.
Just organically, one of the most organic turns I've
Within 2 days.
Within 2 days. Just completely, like, she was really bad. Big Swole was like, you know, you're better than this. I know you are. Prove it to me. And she did. And we all fucking loved it. It was
also,
fantastic.
What Big Swole said to her post the rematch was beautiful as well. She basically pulled Chikara up, hugged her, and turned to the crowd and went, she's not a little girl anymore. She's a woman. Which I think is a proper rite of passage for Chikara.
They've got now a whole raft of people that can come after Trivet for that belt as like up and coming faces. You've got your Cassius, you've got Cara Noir, you've got Chikara as well now.
Have they got Cara Noir? Because we can get on to that. He had a match against Cassius for the Pride of Brighton, like medal, didn't he?
Oh, he did. And there was interesting things in that. So let's wrap up with that, because obviously we could literally sit here for an hour and a half.
We could. It's 3 shows. It's a lot to get into.
But we'll wrap up with the Cara Noir stuff.
Talk about as well.
Pardon?
Can we talk about one more thing afterwards?
Yeah, go on. If we get through Cara Noir, we can get to that bit as well.
Okay, let me quickly get into this as well then.
So go on.
Right, Cara Noir came out as Cassius's open challenger. This had kind of been set up on Followed Share, which is absolute blasphemy in itself, and made sure that Cassius was the only person he followed immediately after becoming Pride of Brighton champion.
Okay.
So Cara Noir cannot get a win in Riptide, and Cassius was not meant to be, the winner of a Pride of Brighton tournament because he was eliminated first round.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of underlying story going on in this. Cassius is the perfect underdog, and Cara Noir is still looking for, well, not just the big win, which this would have been, but any win, like in general. Which I personally acclaimed Riptide in general for this whole storytelling, because it's gone from Cara Noir can't beat anybody, like, to us completely rooting for him to get a victory. But I don't think anybody in that room wanted to see Cassius lose.
Yeah.
So, well, we've got the continuation of that now. Cassius is still Pride of Brighton champ. Cara Noir still hasn't been able to pick up a win in Riptide. So
he did get the win, didn't he? But then Cassie's foot was on the rope, so
I forgot about that.
He demanded the match to be restarted, didn't he?
Yeah, Cara Noir basically won the match, dragged the ref into the corner, showed him that Cassius's foot had been placed on, and was like, "No, not like this. I want to win fairly."
Oh, cool. And then you had, what was the shenanigans post-match?
Oh, yeah. Michael Bird basically wiping down Cara Noir's makeup and beating him down, using his shoot name, "You are a wrestler, Tom."
Oh, so that's an intriguing storyline going forward with Mike Bird not liking any gimmicks. He didn't pile drive Lion Kid Simba, so I'm not on board yet. Victoria, what are you going to
go against Mike Bird if you are a lover of anything that is not pure wrestling?
What are we finishing up with, Victoria?
So number one was the Jordan Breaks and Daniel McCarby British Rounds match. That was absolutely ridiculously brilliant. They might be two of my fave wrestlers now.
Nice.
So there, it was really, really good. And the second and last thing, Bird Law, Vader Scott and Speedball Mike Bailey against Club Tropicana. Wow.
Ireland!
Wow.
One, I'm gutted I didn't get to see Daniel McCarby live, and two, I'm definitely gutted I didn't get to see Club Tropicana. So,
I'm sure there'll be a chance. I spoke to the guys after. They want to come back over and do some stuff.
Good to hear. If you want to check that out, go on to Riptide on Demand and check it out as and when you can. I've heard tremendous things about that. They are back in, is it December, the next show?
Yeah, December 6th.
December 6th for Combat Panto. Hopefully I'll be there for that one. If not, we'll definitely be covering it here on the Indie Wrestling Show. But we moved on with more news. In the most shocking news of 2019, there's drama going on in the world of Lucha Libre. It involves CMLL and The Crash. If you're not aware of the whole Roosh and Dragon Lee situation, allow me to fill you in. Roosh and Dragon Lee were released from CMLL just hours after the 86th anniversary event took place a few weeks ago, with CMLL claiming it was due to the two not living up to the standards of the organisation. Now, Mike, there has been some ongoing turmoil behind the scenes of CMLL, which is kind of really affecting the younger stars of that promotion.
Yeah, it's definitely in the shitter, so to speak.
I love that. Trying to do it really news like yeah, no, it's fucked, mate, to be honest.
How CMLL have managed to fuck themselves in the last year is beyond me. They've lost all their biggest draws. At least in terms of like the younger markets, they've still got all their like stars from like the 80s and the 90s. Like, and I use stars very lightly there because they're all in their 50s and 60s now.
They've lost Roosh and Dragon Lee, but they've still got Ultimo Guerrero.
Yeah, not forgetting they also lost the Lucha Brothers at the start of the year as well.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So yeah, there's a lot of issues, a lot of talent that are there, want out, and yeah, obviously, Pac Alonso dying earlier this year was really, like, it's terrible to say, it was kind of like the catalyst for a lot of this stuff to start going wrong.
Because then his daughter became de facto...
Yeah, Sophia did take over as president because she was head of marketing, which then the company defected to her with Paco's death, and now she has been quietly retitled back to a head of marketing job.
So would you argue maybe that she's been ousted as...
She very much has, because the guy's name escapes me now, who has been brought in as president, but he was involved in the company, I'm sure it was like 20 odd years ago, and he's very pally with all the older stars, and
okay.
They changed a lot with the way they're doing contracts now, so they've taken the guarantees away from pretty much all of the young guys, apart from the old stars, which is just the old guys looking after their spot, which isn't the right thing because it's going to cause the death of the industry.
Yeah, it's very...
It is all politics.
Very WCW, what's going on there at the moment. The Crash have also announced that Roosh and Dragon Lee will meet Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix on the 8th anniversary event in Tijuana on November 1st. However, a little caveat there, Rush did say it could be any Munoz family member, so their father, Bestia del Ring, could be part of that match. However, two things to note from this. Because Roosh and Dragon Lee are on this show, CMLL have pulled all of their talent from it. So Sobrano, Cavagnaro, Angel de Oro, and Niebla are not working that show because CML are not allowing any of their talent to work on any show that Dragon Lee and Roosh are on.
Well, if they're not allowing their talent to work on, at least as a general rule, not allowing CMLL talent to work for any in any match with anybody other than another CMLL talent, and they've also put up all of the prices of hiring out like the CMLL guys, and have taken a higher cut from those overseas bookings as well. So that's obviously caused them a lot of issues.
The other big thing is Dragon Lee is meant to be part of the New Japan Pro Wrestling Super Junior Tag Tournament. He's not been cancelled from that tour, but if I'm not mistaken, the Crash booking is in around about the same time as the Junior Tag Tournament.
It'll be in the Junior Tag League is due to kick off in around about 2 weeks now. Yeah. So 1st of November would be bang in the middle of the tour.
So Dragon Lee could be a doubt for that tournament. It's definitely one to check out there. Kyle, another reason you're on board with us, because this past weekend was the King of Trios.
It was.
Chikara.
And I'm properly invested in some lovely trios action.
Yes, the Crucible.
That sounds like really wrong.
The homosexual freeway.
After the chat about the homosexual freeway, that definitely sounds very dodgy.
I've dipped in and out of a lot of King of Trios, but you kind of watched them at this year's tournament. The Crucible one, the Ophidian-led trio with Kimberly and Lance Steele capturing the 2019 King of Trios tournament. I've been brushing up on this, so Carl, please correct me if I'm incorrect.
No, you are correct.
I've not even said anything yet. I'm already correct. I love that.
No, it's just like I've turned into Michael Barrymore. It's like strike it lucky. It's not middle or bottom.
I've got a joke in my head and I'm ignoring it.
No, you can't say it.
Yeah,
you cannot say
Ophidian, the storyline is that Ophidian was kicked out of the Chikara Wrestle Factory, basically, because he was running pretty much a Chikara-style fight club, running his own training things with other trainees. Quackenbush kicked him out of Chikara, and then he took all of the students, so all these different people like Tunku Amir, Frey Nassar, E.M. DeMorris, Lance Steele, Devantes, and The Whisper. And basically, Ophidian's doing this whole make Chikara great again thing, and form the Crucible to fight against Chikara. And Kimberly's been kind of caught in the middle of all of it, and ended up becoming a first a reluctant partner, but now like a partner in the Crucible.
There's a lot of infighting going on with the Crucible, because in recent Chikara matches, Kimberly and The Whisper had to team up together and actually won the tag titles. Don't ask me how to pronounce them because I can't.
Oh, the Campeonatos de Parejas.
Yeah, I genuinely cannot say that. But they were kind of a rivals like tag team. They were put together basically to get them to work together, and it didn't work. And Whisper was originally meant to be on the team of the Crucible. He's still part of the Crucible, but he was meant to be on Ophidian's team. Yeah. And kind of last minute, a couple of weeks before, Whisper got taken out of that and replaced with Kimberly.
Cool. The Whisper, he went on and made it a clean sweep for the Crucible, winning the Rey de Voladores, or as I like to always call it, the Rey de Voladolodingos, as Chuck Taylor called it.
Rey de Voladores.
Which Chuck Taylor says translates as King of the Little Flippy Boys.
Genuinely. I don't think the Rey de Voladores final could have been any more my kind of content.
Yeah, the Whisper defeating Alex Zane is literally two of your favourite wrestlers. Well, probably your two favourite wrestlers at the moment.
Yeah, probably, like, legit, because Alex Zane going into Chikara was a big thing for me, especially with Rey de Voladores this weekend. And then when I realised Whisper had been put in Rey de Voladores, and I was getting that, like, as the final, I was like, I am happy no matter what happens. But with Whisper winning, it kind of adds to the whole story of Crucible.
Well, he challenged Dash Hatfield for the Chikara Grand Championship as well, unsuccessfully, but he challenged him. One thing I want to do is to pop Mike. Obviously, Mike will be aware, and Victoria will probably may be aware, that one of the teams was Petey Williams, Jordan Grace, and Scott Steiner.
Team Pump! Oh, God, no. I forgot about the second, night they had a Scott Steiner sway jar.
No, but this is what I'm going to explain. So, Chikara's PG, so no swearing. It's a very family-friendly show. Obviously, they had Scott Steiner on there, so Petey Williams and Jordan Grace had a swear jar at ringside.
My favourite moment of that whole thing was there was a moment where Scott Steiner called the referee a son of a whore, and you just see the camera pan out to Petey holding the sway jar.
It's like, God damn it. Got some stuff from Japan to quickly talk about. New Japan Road. Mike, Jushin Thunder Liger assured Minoru Suzuki that their upcoming match at King of Pro Wrestling, they are going to kill each other.
Yeah, it feels like either my dad or my boss is going to die.
Yeah. Remember, this podcast is brought to you by Suzuki-gun. And Taguchi, Yano, and Makabe, I'm thinking of Daniel from earlier on, defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi, Honma, and the guy that fell over and hit his head on the ring apron to retain the never six-man openweight tag team titles.
You mean they still exist?
They do. They're no longer an afterthought. They're not the...
I thought they were going to be on, like, America's Most Wanted, like, people. I believe the belts have actually been on milk cartons all around Japan.
Have you seen these belts? Last seen on a curry salesman, an ass-obsessed rugby coach, and a man who wears a Giants chain that has all of his music taken away when it goes internationally. We now go over to Big Japan. Well,
if we're going to stick on New Japan, it's King of Pro Wrestling on Monday.
It is, but we will kind of... And we got Ospreay versus ELP. You've got Okada versus Sanada for the belt.
Okada, Sanada, Kota Ibushi versus Evil for the G1 contract. There's Moxley and Juice Robinson in a no DQ match for the US title.
That's the bit I'm excited about. Moxley versus Juice.
And then obviously the Liger and Suzuki match,
Kinshin,
which will be fun.
Kinshin versus Suzuki.
Well, no, it is announced as Jushin Thunder Liger. There's no Kishin.
Oh,
so
maybe just popped out for a little bit. It's like, I'm back now. I'm normal. Showcase for everyone. I was mentioning Big Japan because WWE UK champion Volta's going over to Big Japan Pro Wrestling
in the latest installment of Wrestling is Fucking Weird.
Yeah.
Why have I not heard of this yet?
Yeah.
This was Sunday, didn't it?
Yeah. He's teaming with Daisuke Sekimoto at Ryokutan 2019, going against Yuji Obayashi and the current 0-1 heavyweight champion Yuji Hino in a special tag match. So, yeah, that's strange. Like, I know that obviously they sent Itami over to Noah before he left. So yeah, Volta going over to Big Japan. I know obviously he made a big name for himself in Big Japan back in day. But
it just feels weird when you've only seen like a lot of WWE talent going to Evolve mainly.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I recently found out, I think Primo and Epico is spending a lot of their time just in their WWC in Puerto Rico. That's where they are. They're just there instead of wrestling for WWE now. TNT, A Cold Day in Hell. Victoria, you was there.
Yes, I was.
Thank you.
I was too.
You was there as well, Carl. Let's move on. No,
I'm the whole reason she was there.
Right, yes, Carl, you put yourself over. There we go.
Someone had to.
David Starr defeated Mark Haskins in a ladder match to win the TNT title. How was that, Victoria?
Oh, beautiful. Stunning. Fantastic. Bit violent.
You were all of the emotion.
That sounded like you was doing basically the review for like at the end of being in a cab of Come Dine With Me. It's like beautiful, delicious.
It's very
I'm giving it a 7.
Cassidy reviews movies.
But it's not Fast 5. But then David Starr did make an announcement post-match, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Which was...
Kyle, what was it?
TNT is unionized.
Unionized. That's right. When they dressed like the postcode lottery people outside Ali Pali, it was for a reason. And TNT is
unionized TNT.
David Starr didn't win the title. He just won the postcode lottery.
Someone's knocking at your door. It's Eddie Dennis.
We also had the best moment of that whole week of wrestling with watching Jack Jester and Mikey Whiplash playing the PS1.
I saw that. That generally is one of my favourite spots. I will put that in the post on the thingy, them playing the PS1. It is genuinely hilarious. We're going to be at Attack. Well, some of us. 3/4 of us are going to be at Attack tomorrow for Voices of Violence.
Just for free.
Oh, sorry. It's now. I've confused the time. We're recording this on a Tuesday because we're there on a Wednesday. I know Joe's there as well. So there's 4. And Paige. There's 5 of us. We got some interesting matches lined up. We got Chris Brooks versus Nico Angelo. And if Nico loses, he is off the Attack roster. The Cabal. Carl's favourite team, going up against More Than Hype, also Carl's favourite team.
It's Ireland versus Triangles. Who do I root for? Well, you just put the Irish flag in a triangle and then I go home happy.
There's surely some
I think you mean Tony.
Irish Dairy Lee. Chief Deputy Dunn against Robbie X, and the match that I literally bought the tickets for, Mustache Mountain versus the 0121. Oh my god, that's going to be amazing.
One actual second.
Yeah.
A Tyler Bate has literally just been pulled out. I am not shitting you.
Oh,
it has just come up on
get
Twitter.
in the sea.
This is real reactions.
Oh, real right.
Reaction. Trent Seven is still on the card.
A suitable partner.
It will be found. It hasn't been found yet. So, who knows? Who knows?
Could it be Millie? Is Millie about? Oh,
Can Trent do intergender?
Probably not.
Actually, no. It'd be on his team, wouldn't it? So,
yeah, it's.
Does that count?
I maybe Millie. I don't know. Imagine if
Roadman Riley McKenzie again.
But thing is though, what I wanted was them to come out to Lethal Bizzle, and I know what Trent and Tyler. I want them to come out to Old School Garage. Them come out just literally. If they come out to do you really like it? Trent and Tyler.
You will be loving it.
I'll be loving it like that. I think it's done now. I really imagine if Pete. Oh, Pete's in America, isn't he? Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be. That's going to be interesting. How they move that about.
It's gonna be Kane.
Gutted, absolutely gutted. You broke my heart Velasquez. On the podcast. It's Kane. Yes, Kane Velasquez and Tyson Fury.
Trent pulled from the card to WWE and sent them instead.
Can you bring him?
Go on, get some practicing, boys.
We got Starcade this weekend, which looks to be fantastic. You got Joe Nelson, we've been waxing lyrical about, against JJ Barker for the leader of the New Breed. Luke Jacobs against Dan Maloney. More Than Hype against the unique team of Chris Brooks, Shea Purser and Danny Luna. The Breed title, TK Cooper defending against Brady Phillips and Big Guns Joe. You got A-Kid against Carlos Romo and Chuck Mambo against Mike Bailey. I'm very intrigued to see. Hopefully, what I might do is I might try and get a little bit of a report from Bruiser Paige, because she's going to be there at the show. So we'll talk about that next week. Also this weekend, Kyle, you're going to be at a thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I got a ticket to something earlier. Manchester Progress.
True Friend Stab You in the Front is this weekend. Progress Tag Titles.
Which is why I am never looking at any of you again.
Davis and Devlin against the GYV for the Progress Tag Titles. You got Young Guns.
Ireland!
Young Guns against Pretty Deadly. No Ireland there. Tony Storm against Danny Luna. TK Cooper against Roy Johnson. Cara Noir against Ilya Dragunov. For the Proteus belt, Paul Robinson against Travis Banks has been announced. And Eddie Dennis will be in attendance, the new Progress World Champion.
We don't know what he's doing, but he's there.
He's going to be there doing interpretive dance.
Because he said he'll be at every show, and half of them I can't make, which annoys me.
Or a math
because
test.
I did a big cry, and now he's back.
Now you can do an anti-cry.
My question is he actually cleared?
Yeah, that's my question as well, because he won the belt. WWE. He's won the belt, and then just kind of held it hostage.
Hey, Spike's not cleared, and he's Brighton champion, so...
But Eddie's injury's been a lot worse. He's been out since March. I was there at the show where it happened, and it's going to be the middle of October. We'll say middle of October, at this point.
It's torn pec, wasn't it? So
right, House of Glory. Going to wrap up with this because this was fucking random when I saw this on Twitter earlier. Yeah, we talk about House of Glory. They brought Private Party to the mainstream and to AEW. They're the company run by Amazing Red out of New York. They've got a new owner. Master P, the rapper, writer, former basketball player, and what I love about this in the news article I got this from, leader of the WCW stable No Limit Soldiers. Only the real G's remember the No Limit Soldiers.
I am not a real G.
Announced that he now owns House of Glory Wrestling, which is great because he's a businessman now. So hopefully it might lead to maybe another big company in the US because that's what we need. We need more wrestling to enjoy. Just a really, really weird story. Where's Tim Westwood? I want him to... Can he buy a company?
Tim Westwood will probably buy RevPro.
Well, no, Wrestling League and IPW have split up now.
They're available, people. Oh, no, he'll buy Pro Wrestling Chaos. They're available.
Still probably be more successful.
Damn, baby, it's RevPro!
Drop an F in the chat. Victoria doesn't care anymore.
Anyway, that wraps up the Indie Wrestling Show. If you want to get in touch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all at TWM Wrestle. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Acast, TuneIn, YouTube, all those good places. At twm.news, you can check out some great stuff about... We've got the preview for Progress's chapter this weekend. We've got a top 5 best British wrestlers coming up under 25, so check that out. We'll have a preview for Starcave, courtesy of Paige, and we'll have loads of stuff, AEW, WWE, all that good stuff as well. Merchandise. We've updated the merch store with loads of new stuff with the new logo on. You can buy a mug. You can buy a phone case. You can buy stickers. You can buy a sweatshirt, a hoodie, a T-shirt for both men, women, and unisex. It's all there. All you got to do is go on to twm.news and click the shop banner. You'll probably hear that.
Have they sorted the pricing out yet, Matthew?
Didn't need to bring that up on the podcast, Victoria, you tool. But yes, they are sorting the pricing out. It'll be sorted out soon.
Is it in my budget?
Yes, they're 20 quid, the T-shirts.
That's not in my budget.
What? I'm trying to sell the products, you bunch of dicks. Merch, twm.news, thank you. Squared Circle Box, TWM News, 10% off for your first order of your monthly wrestling box needs. I think that's everything I've pretty much covered. Babyface app, go and download that on the Google Play Store and Apple Store. Victoria, social media.
My Twitter, if you'd like me talking about cats and stuff, is at Victoria070591.
I imagine there'll be delayed coverage of Bake Off from both of us, in all fairness. My Twitter is at MattyID. I normally go at the end, but if you want to see synchronised reactions to Bake Off, check out our Twitters. Kyle, your Twitter.
I'm going to plug myself and someone else because I feel like I need to after Riptide.
Okay.
Mine is at your boy KJ, but between boy and KJ it's 2 underscores because I am a waffly twat. And the other one, just because he had to put up with me and Victoria throughout the vast majority of Riptide, follow at George Francis, PW, and follow George on his wrestling career.
You bullied him for those 3 days, I found out.
We requested him back in our section and Riptide caved.
Again, Riptide
Riptide
being filthy, you requesting people back in your section for another homosexual 3-way. Mike.
Not that kind.
Mike, your Twitter.
My Twitter.
Yeah.
It's not my Twitter, but since he hasn't had a mention, he made his triumphant return. He unearthed himself from under whatever rock he was under. Let me get there. The man, the myth, the real great one. I'm not on about The Rock. I know he came back to SmackDown, but no.
I forgot about this. We didn't mention this, did we?
O_Khan, the great O'Khan return.
The great O'Khan is
of
back.
wrestling.
It's
gonna win the name redacted tag titles.
Hashtag make name redacted great again. Great O'Khan's back. Coming. Oh, we're all off to go drink some tequila and lie face down in a room. This has been That Indie Wrestling Show. Go support your local wrestling. Go to whatever wrestling you can find. You can find it on the Babyface app. And we'll be back next Wednesday.